Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you.
This chilling video shows Elliot Rodger, the 22-year-old Santa Barbara college student who police say killed 6 and injured 13 in Friday's mass shooting and stabbing spree.
Yeah, he shot a lot of people on top. A young white boy, too.
There's a lot of people dead in
Hell
there.
yeah. Hell yeah. He shot a lot of people up in there. Oh my God. Yeah, he shot a lot of people in there. Oh my God.
Incel ideology is seemingly on the rise, with attacks like the 2014 Isla Vista killings, 2018 Parkland High shootings, and 2022 Buffalo shooting. Single white men seem to perpetrate mass shootings at a higher rate. The blame seems to fall on incels and far-right extremism. With all this blame thrown around, why are none of these incel groups classified as domestic terror groups in the US? Is the media overblowing the violence of these online groups? Are we overreacting to their impact and frequency? To find out, let's take a short dive into the incel world, Elliot Rodger, and the forum incels.is. We'll start by figuring out the definition of incels and what exactly this internet phenomenon is. I really like the definition given by Thomas W. Delaney in the Mental Well-Being of Involuntary Celibates. The definition I am going to use is incels, or involuntary celibates, are men who consider their lack of sexual or romantic relationship key to their identity. The word key in there is probably the most important part. It isn't just being involuntarily celibate, but more specifically, the belief that being involuntarily celibate is a trait to who you are as a person. Just because you're involuntarily celibate right now, or maybe in the future, does not make you an incel. Generally, these are guys who already have very low self-esteem due to life's circumstances, find this community, and then fall deeper into self-loathing and depression. Looking at stats alone, incels score higher on depression, anxiety, and stress over the general population by a wide margin, estimated at around 68% of the entire incel community. They also have a higher rate of autism at about 45% of their community. I find that these are the main issues in this group. These problems are hard to change and compound on each other, eventually developing into the incel stereotype. Now let's get into the more extreme parts of this group, like Elliot Rodger and the incels that look up to him. Elliot Rodger was a 22-year-old son of a Hollywood filmmaker. He was in college at the time and had planned to shoot up the Alpha Phi sorority house. His rationalization for this was because he was a virgin who had never been kissed.
For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me. Girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me. I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl.
He chose the specific house because he deemed them the hottest college women at his school. He went through with a stabbing and shooting May of 2014. He shot and killed 2 young women outside the Alpha Phi house, stabbed 3 young men to death, then went on a rampage driving around shooting 14 random people and fatally shooting 1 more young man. He had posted his manifesto to YouTube before his shooting, then after the shooting committed suicide. After this, some from the incel community started referring to him as the supreme gentleman, while others call him a fake cell or fake incel because he was not an unattractive man. I would say Elliot is not a larger representation of this group and should only be looked at as an extreme outlier. The vast majority of this group actively hate this guy for the damage he has done to the group's perception as a whole. They will often have fights with the glorifiers of Elliot Rodger. Most incels are generally social outcasts who are docile and indecisive. They should not be thought of as more extreme outliers in the group. What is an incel forum? A forum is a website where people can create posts and discussions that other people can interact with. An incel forum is just that, but with the added requirement of being an incel. Generally, these sites allow a lot more hateful and crazy posts over the average. The main issue I have is people go onto these forums to find reasons to hate incels. Most people would have to go out of their way to find these forums. They would also have to go around the rules and warnings that are generally posted front and center on the forum. These give people warnings of who should and shouldn't be there. Let's take the biggest incel forum, incels.is. Once you enter the website, a thread is pinned to the very top of all the other threads called Rules and FAQ. If you choose to go past these to find something to complain about, that is on you. I look at these forums as a place for incels to vent their frustration in a safe environment. I would much rather they say all these hateful stuff they want on these forums over repressing it and going out to commit mass violent crime. They have been banned from everywhere else online and have created a space specifically for themselves. I believe they have the right to have it, and people going there to purposefully find terrible posts is just rage bait, especially when it only seems to go one way. A 2018 general survey graph by the Washington Post was going around the internet for a few years. This survey showed a steep rise in male virginity rates. The news and other YouTube commentators ran with this and started fear-mongering about the steep rise in incels we were going to have. We didn't get an updated graph until 2023 when a new general social survey was published. This survey showed that the 2018 one was a tiny blip and men and women are back to the same virginity rates as before. The fear of the 2018 survey was unwarranted and overblown. I have not seen fixes or any more news on these surveys besides the rare vid on it. I find this to be a very big problem and the reason perception of incels never changes. To end this off, I want to give a bit of hope, a bit of a white pill, if you will. If you are an incel or you have a friend you think is an incel, there are steps you can take to improve your life. With the higher rates of depression and anxiety among incels, the first thing all psychiatrists recommend is to go get diagnosed. Most of the unwillingness to change are symptoms of clinical depression. I know most men, especially incels, refuse to see a psychologist. They see them as a waste of time, resources, and as untrustworthy. This is not true. If you or a friend are showing these signs, getting diagnosed and given prescription drugs make all the other steps that much easier. The next steps you want to take are to socialize and fix bad habits. Get enough sleep every night, eat well, and go outside. If you want to get women, here are the most general things you can do. Be within a healthy weight. This can be fit, skinny, or even a tiny bit chubby. All studies show women want men somewhere between Pete Davidson and Zac Efron. It's a wide margin. You don't need to aim for C-Bum or Dwayne Johnson. Just don't be the whale. Next, work on smiling and being outgoing. You are just more attractive when you smile and are easier to talk to. Next, hang out with friends or try to find friends if you don't have any. You will find way more success being around friends and in the real world than on any app. Incels can change themselves and should keep this in mind. As soon as they give up, it's all over, and I hate that. It's never over until you're dead. Don't believe their phrase of "it was over before it even began." Everyone can change their circumstances.